to go, don't slow down. Listen, tunnel. Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome to Stef ABtv. I can't quite believe I'm saying this, but today I'm going to be driving that Lamborghini Huracan Evo and that Aventador S. Welcome to the Lamborghini Huracan Evo. Now, this is the first time I'm ever driving a Lambo, believe it or not. I've been in one passenger-wise, but driving one is the first time. So very, very excited. A massive thank you to Lamborghini for the opportunity. Now, I've driven a similar platform of car in the form of the Audi R8 V10 Performance, and what we're in right now runs the same 5.2 litre engine, 5.2 litre V10 engine, and produces well over 600 horsepower, and I'll give you all the facts and figures in a bit. But right now I've got limited time with the car, so what I want to do is kind of show you guys and let you listen just to how good this thing sounds. I mean, just the downshifts alone are incredible. Seriously quick acceleration. Now, I've got the car set in sport mode, it's not in Corsa, but my word, you can feel that the road conditions are a little bit damp, which means that the wheels do like to spin up a little bit. But this is such an event to drive, and just keeping at the high end of the RPM is what this car's all about. Oh man. This car revs all the way up to 8,500 RPM, and my word, it pulls all the way through the gear. And the noise as it powers through the revs, it just sings. What a car. Lamborghini have found some delicious little country roads for us to explore, and the thing with this is the stability is ridiculous. Obviously it's a very wide car, wide track. It does plant all of that power down with its four-wheel drive system. And it really does throw you back into your seat. My word, what an experience. And I feel very fortunate, first of all, to be driving such an incredible bit of kit. I'm also very conscious that I'm behind the wheel of a very expensive car on some relatively damp roads, but as I said earlier on, the car really does put the power down well, even in these damp conditions, which is testament to how this car has been designed. From a looks perspective, from a design and style, I've always been a fan of the Huracan. In fact, probably one of my favourite Lambos is in fact the Huracan Performante. I think for me, that is one of the most beautiful looking Lamborghinis out there. And we're in a Huracan Evo, and whilst this car comes in slightly less than a Performante, you still get so much from this thing. And so one of these cars, the Lamborghini Huracan Evo, they start at around 189 grand base, but don't get it twisted. The moment you start to play around with the optional extras and you start to really go for a nice spec, the price does start to hike up. But if you're going to buy an Evo, you're going to buy it for the power, the sound, the fact that it's just such a pure noise. I mean, the visibility is actually quite impressive considering I can see very clearly out the back. Drivability of this car as well, you would think that because it is a supercar, you would think that it's difficult to drive, but actually it's not. It's actually very similar to driving just a wide normal car until you start to open the taps up, and then that's when this car transforms itself to a little bit more of an animal. And the noise that you get from the car is unbelievable. Comfort as well, believe it, it's actually really comfortable for a supercar. It really is comfortable. You wouldn't think suspension perspective, it's a little stiff. It has to be stiff to be able to take the corners and really throw yourself around as we slow down for this swooping left-hander. And another one. Oh, this is just glorious and brilliant fun. You can feel the wheels slipping a little bit there as we open up into a bit of dry tarmac. And there we go, look at that. So from a quick summary perspective, because that's not it, I'm not just driving the Huracan Evo, I'm also going to be driving an Aventador, which is pretty insane. So my final kind of verdict on this very quick media drive is that the Huracan Evo for me is a superb car. It feels very nimble. It's not as wide as something like an Aventador, which makes it, you know, a little bit less conscious of your width. And I've driven some wide cars now. I own an Alfa Romeo 4C, and that's quite wide as well. You get very familiar very quickly with the width of the car. Well, we're going to head back to Lamborghini Pangbourne now, and we're going to jump in the Aventador, and that should be pretty insane. Okay, so we've jumped out of the Huracan Evo and now we're in the Aventador S. Now, slightly different, this is a bit wider. It's a lot more, it's a bit like a cheese wedge from the back. It kind of gets bigger as you go. But now this thing is a 6.5 litre V12. It's also a single clutch gearbox, so the gear shifts will be slightly different to that of the Huracan. It wants to go, I'll tell you that. Now this car is over 700 horsepower as well, so it's a serious bit of kit. The 0 to 60 time on this is similar to that of the Huracan Evo, but it weighs a lot more as well, and you have that little bit more of a gap when you do the gear shifts. Now, I've got the car set up in Corsa gearbox, Corsa engine, and the Strada steering. The reason I've got Strada steering is it makes it a little bit easier on the hands, but also a bit softer on the suspension. So this should be good fun. And you can hear the exhaust as well. Same thing from the Huracan Evo, except wow, it's a much more, I think it's a much more visceral experience, this car. Yeah, those gear shifts in Corsa, it may be single clutch, but my word, do you feel those gears are locking in? That's a really good experience, a very raw experience. Now, I touched earlier on about the Huracan Evo being pretty much a supercar you can daily every day. I think it might be a little bit more of a challenge on the Aventador S. Massive carbon ceramic brakes on this car. You can feel the stopping power of it. Those pops and bangs from the exhaust sound unbelievable. Again, this car revs out to just over 8,500 RPM. When you fire through, it's such a sense of occasion. Oh, that is relentless power. Relentless power. And the thing is with this as well, that the torque towards the top end of the RPM, that's where you really start to feel that V12. It almost just says, hey, I've got more to go, don't slow down. Listen, ton up. Very impressive. I'll tell you what, the brake pedal on this Aventador S, you really do have to stamp on it. It almost feels a little bit more like a race car than a road car. But once you can open it up and you can feel those gear shifts, they are furious. 700 plus horsepower. And even though I have 700 horsepower, the car feels, well, it feels composed because we have four-wheel drive, but also the width of this car. Massive thick tyres on the back of this Lamborghini Aventador S, which means that it puts as much of that horsepower down as possible. That single clutch gearbox, you know, I actually really like this. Now, there's a few people who said, oh, I'm not so sure about single clutch, but for me, it adds to that visceral feel, and when you're driving one of these, that's what you want. You can feel like every gear is a sense of occasion for me. Dropping into first, look at that. I tell you what, this car for me, there's a lot more effort involved actually driving it than the Huracan. It's wider for one, it's more aggressive two, it's faster three. You really do need to have your wits about you when you're driving this thing. My word, what an experience. This is such a race car, what a car. I mean, first gear downhill. Wow. 0 to 60 again, similar around the 2.9 region, and you really do feel it. Although, what's different with this car to the Huracan Evo is that, like I said, when the power kicks in towards the top end, it just sucks you back into your seat. You almost feel like there's a bit of a time warp going on when I'm looking ahead at the road. I guess there's a question for me, what do I prefer? Because I think they're both fantastic cars. I think they both serve different purposes. They're both different areas within the price range. The Aventador S is going to cost more than that of the Huracan. However, for me personally, because I would like to use this car more regularly, I think that the Huracan Evo is the car that I specifically would choose. I love this Aventador S. I love how aggressive and raw it is. But I think for me to use every day, as I knock it back into Corsa, I would potentially take, well, I probably would take the Huracan Evo. And bear in mind that I probably won't be able to afford either of them. So the opportunity that I've received today from a Lamborghini Pangbourne and Lamborghini themselves to come down and drive these two cars is incredible. So I have to say a massive thank you to those guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. I have had an amazing time driving two iconic cars. I've looked at Lamborghinis for years as I grew up. To actually get the chance to drive one it's a dream come true. So thank you so much. My name's been Steph. You guys have been awesome. I'll see you all very soon on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.